There's a special kind of riff that doesn't just punch, it possesses. The kind that coils around your spine, drags you into the pit, and makes you wonder how the hell the rest of the world hasn't been worshipping it for years. And that's exactly why I'm here. Because while everyone else is busy recycling the same 10 greatest riffs of all time, I've been stalking the forgotten corners of the metal realm, dusty demos, overlooked albums, criminally underrated bands, collecting the riffs that deserve devotion, not neglect. These are the riffs that ignite stage fires, summon ancient spirits, and make amps beg for mercy. Yet somehow, you're not listening to them. So today, I'm cracking open the vault. Prepare yourself for 5 riffs that are heavier than your regrets, sharper than your ex's last text, and absolutely guaranteed to make you ask, how did I miss this? Welcome to my sermon. Put up your devil horns, get on your knees, and worship at the metal altar. Corrosion of Conformity, Vote with a Bullet. The countdown kicks off with a riff that doesn't just hit, it detonates. Vote with a Bullet is Corrosion of Conformity at their most venomous, a moment where their groove-laden southern crunch mutates into something sharper, darker, and far more dangerous. This is the kind of riff that stalks rather than sprints, built on a coiled, mid-tempo pulse that feels like it's waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The magic here is the tight, grinding chromatic descent, a riff that feels like a machine chewing through steel. It's simple but not basic, repetitive but never dull. Every cycle adds pressure, like a vice tightening around your skull. And when the drums lock in, the whole thing becomes a slow-rolling riot. Why aren't more people talking about it? Because Vote with a Bullet sits in that weird space between COC's crossover past and their latest sludge groove dominance. It's a transitional track, and transitional tracks often get ignored. But this riff? It's a warning shot, a manifesto, a reminder that sometimes the most lethal ideas come wrapped in restraint. If you've somehow skipped it, now's the time to correct that mistake. This riff doesn't ask for your attention, it demands it. Accept. Balls to the wall. Balls to the wall is the moment the threat kicks the damn door down. Accept didn't just write a riff here, they forged a metal anthem so massive it feels like it was built from iron beams and factory sparks. This is the kind of riff that doesn't ask for permission, it marches, boots first, straight into your chest. The power lies in its unyielding simplicity. A monolithic stomping guitar line that moves like a war machine, slow, deliberate, and absolutely unstoppable. It's the sound of 1,000 fists rising in unison. It's the riff that turns casual listeners into headbangers and headbangers into lifelong disciples. And yet, somehow, you're probably not listening to it enough. Maybe you've relegated it to classic metal status, filed away with the usual suspects. But this riff isn't nostalgia. It's pure voltage, still crackling with the same rebellious energy it had the day it dropped. Metal Church, Gods of Wrath. If the first 2 entries were blunt force trauma, Gods of Wrath is the moment the list ascends into something mythic. Metal Church didn't just craft a riff here, they carved a cathedral out of distortion and lit it with pure, righteous fire. This is one of those rare metal riffs that feels both holy and hostile, a melodic invocation wrapped in steel. The opening riff is a slow-burning prophecy, built on clean, echoing chords that shimmer like storm clouds gathering over a battlefield. But when the distortion kicks in, the whole track transforms. The main riff becomes a soaring, defiant charge, equal parts power metal uplift and thrash metal bite. It's the kind of riff that makes you stand taller without realizing it. Why aren't more people listening? Because Gods of Wrath sits in that underrated pocket of Metal Church's catalog, too melodic for the thrash purists, too heavy for the glam crowd, too sophisticated for casual listeners. But for those who know, this riff is epic. Exodus. Toxic Waltz. Now we're stepping into the pit proper. The Toxic Waltz isn't just a riff, it's a public service announcement for thrash fans. Stretch your neck, tighten your boots, and prepare for impact. Exodus built this track as a celebration of the chaos they helped invent, and the main riff is the gasoline that keeps the circle pits spinning. The riff itself is a thrash masterclass, a serrated, palm-muted gallop that slices forward with surgical aggression, punctuated by those signature Gary Holt chord punches that feel like elbows flying in a packed venue. It's fast, but not sloppy, wild, but perfectly controlled. The kind of riff that makes you grin right before someone crashes into you. And here's the crime. People treat the Toxic Waltz like a novelty track, fun, goofy, a mosh anthem. But underneath the tongue-in-cheek lyrics is one of the tightest, most infectious riffs Exodus ever wrote. It's thrash distilled to its purest form, violent, playful, and absolutely irresistible. This is the riff that teaches you how to move. This is the riff that reminds you why thrash exists. This is the riff you should have been blasting years ago. Sacred Reich. Death Squad. The riff that doesn't just top the list, it burns the list to ash and stands triumphant over the ruins. Death Squad is Sacred Reich at their most feral, and the main riff is one of the most criminally underrated thrash assaults ever recorded. This isn't just a riff you aren't listening to. This is a riff the world has been sleeping on for decades, and the metal mistress is done letting that slide. The main riff hits with a razor-edged, militant precision, a tightly wound downstroke barrage that feels like a battalion charging in formation. It's fast without being frantic, technical without being showy, and mean without ever losing its groove. Every note is a clenched fist. Every repetition tightens the noose. It's the kind of riff that grabs you by the collar and drags you straight into the blast zone. What makes it first? Because this riff is pure thrash DNA, the perfect fusion of aggression, clarity, and intent. It's not just heavy, it's purposeful. It doesn't just attack, it advances. It's the sound of a band who knew exactly what they wanted to say and carved it into stone with their guitars. And yet, almost nobody talks about it. It's buried under bigger names, louder albums, and flashier riffs. But the truth is simple. Death Squad has one of the best thrash riffs ever written, and you're not listening to it. LL, now you are. And once you feel that main riff hit, you'll understand why it sits at the top of this list. And there you have it. 5 riffs that deserve to be carved into the pillars of metal history, yet somehow slipped through the cracks of the mainstream conversation. From the militant charge of Sacred Reich's Death Squad, to the pit-spinning chaos of Exodus, the heroic surge of Metal Church, the iron boot march of Accept, and the venomous grind of COC, each one proves the same truth. Metals will always be about the riff.